What's up, man? Here we are with
Ah,
another web-based tip touch. Today, touching on two pretty hot topics, I would say.
yeah,
Again, with my boy Brett. We're here to touch tips, baby.
yeah, man. My boy Eddie Garcia, aka Magpack, on Mixer.
Catch
I've
that
been
mixer,
watching you.
7 p.m. to 9 p.m. I mean,
Oh, you got a schedule now.
yeah, I try to keep it between those time frames. I mean, I try to keep up with it just to be consistent. So yeah,
You're stacking them up,
yeah, the views are up there. I mean, like I got 400 something, so it's up there.
dude. Dude, that's nice. Good job. And by the way, you totally got me hooked on that. Like, like I spent hours just watching people. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's cool.
So
I mean, you'll find something for. I mean, I think anybody will find something for themselves there. It's just pretty interesting to see the different things people are doing. It's just really interesting. That's just kind of how I got, I guess, hooked in a way. So yeah,
yeah, man. Well, let's just jump right into it. What do you want to start with? Do you want to start with Joker?
yeah. It's coming out next week. Which, by the way, I got tickets for a wife and I to go check it out next week on the premiere night.
Ooh.
So we're gonna
Yeah.
go on a movie day. Go check it out on Thursday. So if anybody's interested out there to hear my honest review about the movie, let me know, comment, and please subscribe. It'll help us out. But yeah, I'm gonna go watch it, and I'll definitely, let you in on just what I thought about the movie, and just kind of in reference to what we're gonna talk about. In reference to this topic, to this article you sent me earlier today.
Yeah.
So I mean, you want to start it off? I mean, what do you think? I mean,
Well,
first of all, are you gonna go watch the movie?
oh yeah, we're gonna go watch it. We are going to skip on the premiere night
Okay.
because I don't know. There we're just you read the papers and there was one thing in Texas. I don't know who it was, but some law enforcement got a some sort of a credible threat that they're saying where there's chatter on the dark webs
Yeah.
talking about a theater being basically a copycat from the Aurora shooting from when the
Yeah.
Dark
Yeah.
Knight. So there's that. There's a lot of controversy surrounding this movie, which is pretty crazy because the director Todd Phillips, he was
Mhm.
known for all of his comedies, and
Yeah.
so I'm sure he's sort of taken aback from all the controversy that this movie is garnering already. And I don't know. I really don't know if it's due or not. It could just be the time that we're living in, but we'll dabble into that today.
Yeah. For
Um,
sure.
so the article I sent you, this was out of the New York Post, and it was titled "Joker Producer Defends Movie for Holding Mirror to Our Society." And so the executive producer, which was his name's Michael Uslan, I think. I probably butchered his name, but
Sorry, Michael.
you know, he's just coming out because he's saying, there's a lot of people saying this movie shouldn't be out. People shouldn't be glorifying white male violence and mental illness, and there's just a whole lot of voices out there saying a lot of negative things about it. And he's saying, hey, you know, we are in the business of making movies, and these are real things. You can't just
Mhm.
tell us not to talk about these topics. And I thought that was really good. I think what people are afraid of, I really think that people are afraid of the copycats. The copycats, we had the Aurora shooting. Of course, we have a lot of mental illness. And the thing that I find interesting, right, is we talk about all these mass shootings, and we talk about, well, it's the guns or it's the mental illness. There's both sides of the coin there, right?
Yeah.
But the one thing that we completely forget is the fact that this I'm looking at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention website,
Yeah.
and they said that the latest data they have is from 2017. They said that 47,000 Americans died from suicide. So
Wow.
you have to know that a lot of that is from mental illness. And so I think that most people who are mentally ill, they they need an outlet. They aren't getting what they need. Those needs are going they're being left.
Yeah.
And so some people, so what you see on the news are these people that snap and they're going on these mass shootings, right?
Yeah.
But how many is that? I mean,
Mhm.
you can look at Las Vegas, who I don't even keep track of how many people die in all these mass shootings, but more. I mean, obviously, it's a terrible, scary um, situation. It's. I'm not saying that it's good, but when you look at the stats, it completely pales in comparison when you look at the mentally ill that are committing suicide.
Yeah.
And check this out. In 2017, there were an estimated 1.4 million suicide attempts. So,
Wow. That's insane. And yeah, just going back to what you were saying from the beginning, it's this is something that I believe Todd Phillips himself said that he was trying to kind of use current, society related issues in the sense of where you're talking about mental illness to, adapt it to the movie itself. So it's not gonna follow, the basis of, the Joker becomes this spontaneous villain of, a chemical reaction or anything like that. No, he said himself strictly this was gonna be a product of what society is transforming this man into. So now we're gonna see like a raw origin story of like how a man can just get so just morphed, and he can just snap into somebody that this is what my environment created me to be. So
yep,
it's really going to be an organic formula, I guess you can say, right? Or we can agree to say that it's going to be like an organic formula. And one thing that he said, the executive producer Michael, he said, quote, "If anything, I believe movies can shake people up and bring issues to attention, whether it's about guns or the need to treat mental illness or the need for civility or for
yeah,
us to start talking with the other instead of at each other again." So there he
yes,
pretty much narrows it down to where this is the formula we're running with, so we can know that this is the stuff that's happening right here before our very own eyes.
yep. And also in that same article, the very last line, it says, "You can't suppress that. You can't censor that." It means
Exactly,
that
exactly.
even there are people in Hollywood waking up to this cancel culture,
Yeah,
this notion that you can't say that because it doesn't fall in line with our ideals, our
yeah,
politics, our battles, and people are saying, you know what, no. And I think part of it is people are realizing that with this cancel culture, that pretty soon people are going to start shedding their social media. If everybody's going to be too afraid to have a social media account because of like today I was reading some article about some kid who raised $1 million, right, in Iowa, and then some old lady reporter came out and said and found, scoured through this kid's or young man's social media feed, found some racist thing he said 7 years ago, and I don't know what happened with the money, but the kid gets fired. The kid gets fired and here he is. He's raising $1 million. It's like, can we not have made mistakes? I mean, society has changed. The way that we talk has changed, and especially I everybody I know everybody I know talks differently today than
mhm,
they did 7 years ago. 7 years ago, so many things you could get away with. So if
yeah,
you get to scrub your social media or whatever, you could be chopped liver.
yeah,
You, me, anybody, and it's completely unfair. And I think that the people raising the alarm, though, it's a very, very small minority, but they're so loud, and it's almost like they've taken over the ship. So here all of us, we're just riding the bus normally, and then we have this small just set of people that are so caught up in their own ideals, and they take over the bus, and now we're all just stuck on the ride. Most
yeah,
people don't follow that stuff. Most people don't subscribe to this cancel culture. Most people don't want to see someone get fired because of something they said 7 years ago.
hmm,
We've got to learn how to get this away. And like he says, we need to be able to talk with each other,
yeah,
not at each
exactly.
other. That's
Exactly. And
so.
I think that's really one of the big things for me why I'm really interested in seeing this film, because if it pertains a lot of stuff that's really currently happening right now in today's society, it's going to be really interesting to have that adapt, you know, being used in the film, and just seeing, you know, this character turn into somebody we can say, I guess, normal, or somebody that has, you know, mental illness, like mental issues, and just going through all this stuff, trying to get help. But, you know, help isn't always going to be the best remedy for certain individuals. Any more than that. And, you know, turns into one of the most iconic villains in the DC universe. So it's, I'm stoked. I'm interested. Even beforehand, before all of this kind of started shedding into light on just like the movie itself and what it's all about, I was kind of like on the fence about it, just because just DC overall was just kind of having a rough road patches with some of the movies. But the more and more I just started hearing about what was going into this film, it started to be one of those ones where I was just getting more and more interested. Like, man, I'm actually pretty stoked to see this now, you know? So I can't wait. Honestly, I can't wait. And also, it's really interesting that the executive producers on the forefront about this film, that, you know, we're just going to give it to you raw. We're going to give it to the people to where, you know, take it as it is. You know, we're going to show you the reality and the truth of what's going on, and, you know, put it in this film, and, you know, enjoy it, dislike it, whatever. But, you know,
Well,
here it is.
Warner Brothers said that the Joker team will not give interviews at the red carpet premiere.
Interesting.
Not
Really?
even doing that. Yep, they're just going in, doing their thing, because it's such a big thing. And the thing to me is, it's like everybody centers on mental illness. I think people are starting to realize that we've ignored that issue for far too long, because if you can't even put out a movie out of fear, because check this out. Shouldn't we be talking about the fact that maybe we should be comparing Joaquin, Joaquin. Sorry.
I have a cousin named Joaquin.
Shouldn't we be, you know, I mean, just like when Jack Nicholson did it originally, the Joker, the character, which is an iconic villain from Batman that's been there from the beginning, has always been a little loopy, a little bit crazy. This was his mental instability was never an issue in any of these other movies. I mean, this last one, Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight, he took it to a level that nobody was ready for. Nobody was ready for. Yeah. So I think that now that he raised the bar and showed that, oh, we can see insanity on a whole new level. 2019 just opens the door for a whole new ball game. So, yeah. But the thing is it, like he said, it's a mirror to our society. It's saying that, hey, there's a lot of people like us. It's so if you don't like what you see, what can you do? What can you do? Is it, do we ban all the guns? Because we know that and there's 360 million guns in this country, and you know damn well people are not going to get rid of their guns. They're not going away. Mm-hmm. But we've had guns since America began in 1776, and before then, we've always had guns. What changed? Yeah. What changed is the fact that maybe, I don't know, maybe mom and dad are both working too many hours. Maybe we're having an issue where we're not making enough money. Maybe social media has just made life just not fun for a lot of people. Yeah. All these kids are bullying. You know, I mean, really, there's just a disconnect. There's a major disconnect. And you can say, start at home. How many people do you know that get real quality time with their kids that they want?
Yeah, it's common. It's really common. I guess you can say that you hear a lot of these stories about just parents not having as much time with their kids, or just their family overall, due to the fact, you know, they're working long hours, they're at work, you know, on the weekends they're working, you know, because I can say and admit, I work on the weekends too, and it sucks to where it's like, you know, it's one of those questions that I can ask myself, is like, you know, I don't really need to go in. I really just, you know, hang out with my family, you know, just chill at home and, you know, relax and just spend some quality time. Aside from people that, you know, vice versa, or they need to go to work the weekend, or they need to work 12 hours a day, 10 hours a day. So it does affect, I guess, the family household. It does definitely have an effect. I can say that. So it's just, all I can say is, like, it's like you hear it too, it's too common. You really hear a lot about it where you say that, parents don't spend as much time with their kids, or spend time at home to really kind of, raise their kids for a good upbringing. So I guess you could say that it's just it's a lot common now. I don't know about before. I would say maybe it wasn't as, but I don't know. It's one of those things where you do hear about it too often, though.
One thing I see, not that I frequent bars, but when you carouse through social media,
Yeah.
you see a lot of people our age hitting clubs still.
Really?
Not spending time with their kids. Oh, I mean, you see these moms that are going out and mama needs mama time, and it's like, but do you need mama time every day? Because I get it, every Friday it's nice to have a margarita with the girls, but this is an everyday occurrence, lady.
Yeah.
I see it. I see it every day.
Yeah.
You talk about it every day.
Yeah.
And so you got to think about that. So I think that society is really selfish. I think that we live in a very selfish society where we serve ourselves first, and then the needs of everyone else come after.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, maybe my kids, if they need some stuff, or they need me to, there's so many parents that don't go to their kids' PTA meetings, and even refs right now. So even if the parents are involved, there's all these refs that are for kids sports that are dropping out because the parents are just too angry at them, just yelling at them, and they're like, you know what? I'm volunteering. I'm not getting paid for this. I'm volunteering. And if you can't understand that your kid just fouled the other kid, and you want to get down, I'm done. So we're all giving up on each other.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think that that this is a character profile of someone who hit their breaking point. Are they glorifying this character? I think that a lot of this hysteria surrounding this movie is all for probably not, because I don't think, although in some movies you do root for the bad guy, right?
mm-hmm.
But I don't think that you're gonna be rooting for this bad guy. I don't think they've structured this movie that way. I think that it's just, hey, look at what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it'll be good. I think it's going to be healthy for people to see it. Although I think that because mental illness is so rampant in our society, there's a lot of people that are just too fragile for this movie. And for those people, don't watch it. If you're
Mm-hmm.
triggered so easily by violence or by strong topics such as this, don't see it. That's the thing. Don't expose yourself to this.
Yeah.
Just don't.
In all fairness, it's going to be a raw example. And that's really what this movie is going to be. I feel like it's going to be a raw example, but they're linking it to being an origin film that I feel like a lot of DC followers have been waiting for. So I feel like they're going to do justice for the movie overall. I feel like they're going to do a good job so far. Like we've talked about it in our previous episode, a couple previous episodes ago. I don't remember which one it was exactly, but we said that this was they were already talking good stuff about it. There was a lot of good reviews about it. So the hype is there. The hype is around the movie. So overall, man, I can't wait. I'm stoked, and hopefully maybe in our next episode we can talk about it. Really give our honest opinions about it and see what we thought. But yeah, man, I'm stoked, and I bet you're stoked too. Everybody else. So I mean, it's definitely gonna be one to see for sure.
Yep. We don't go to a lot of movies, but we'll be going to this one.
Oh, for sure. So on another topic, well, we were talking about this before too. We talked about this on one of our episodes. Disney and Sony finally reached an agreement to bring Spiderman back.
Yeah.
So that was I wouldn't want to say it was a surprise to me personally. I just feel like Sony couldn't really just go on and think to themselves, excuse me, why would we pull off a character that we know is going to make some revenue, high revenue, while Disney has a hold of him for a couple more movies or one more of a movie? Because the deal is, just so right off the bat, so people know, they agreed to one more film, but they also agreed to having another film where he's going to appear in too. So there's I know that I can go on about this topic for days. But I don't know if you knew, and I think we did talk about this just to bring it up and kind of refresh our memories. there was a point in time where Amazon was thinking about buying out Sony's entertainment sector of the company.
I didn't
And there
know
was,
that.
yeah, and also, if I'm not mistaken, Apple was looking into buying it too.
Wow.
So, with that being said, if that were the case and if that were to happen, Disney would automatically gain those rights if Sony sold it to Amazon or Apple. So it was like a win-win for Disney.
Wow.
So I feel, Disney being the superior, the superior being at this point, they knew they were going to probably bring them back. They knew that Sony would probably eventually cave in because they're kind of the ultra machine at this point, to where they're calling the shots. They're all eyes are on them right now. So it didn't really come as a surprise to me, but I'm sure this is going to be a win for the fans. I mean, the fans can agree too that this is a major a win for us. Just me as a fan as well, speaking just for myself. It's a good thing. I'm stoked, but I just feel like there's gonna be another talk about getting in for more feature films. But kind of something that interests me about this whole thing is that Sony's really trying to be careful, or not careful, but they know that this is a character for them, that this is going to be kind of like their cash cow for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Since this whole superhero era of movies is really on us right now. And I don't think they could have gone without the help of Marvel Studios, and just kind of, started off again on their own, and then just, only have themselves to, make those movies instead of having the help from the mega producers and directors over at Marvel Studios. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was stoked about it. I was happy about it. I talked to a few friends about it. I don't know if you even read just a little bit about it and just kind of how everything went down. All I know that we were seeing that Disney was kind of the more trying to lowball or cheat Disney a little bit. They were trying to get more money from Sony. Well, Sony owned the rights to the character. It's like, no, well, why am I going to give you 50% if we own the character? No, we're not going to give you the full 50% of revenues coming in from these movies. And I
Yes.
applaud them for saying no, man, because it's, just because it's on the money train doesn't mean you're going to just try to squeeze me out as much money as you can,
Man, no, that's crazy. And no, I didn't. I actually didn't get to read that article today, so that's why I was kind of hoping you were gonna join. But man, that is crazy. And I know that that's the scary thing about Disney is because they're the big dog in the house, they get to call the shots.
Yeah.
And then people that Spider-Man's huge. Spider-Man has been a huge franchise.
Yeah.
And then to see them on the defensive, that's kind of a thing where you're like, well, wait a minute, how is this going to affect the future of Spider-Man?
Yeah. It's I feel like there's more. I think there's more talks behind the scenes. And also another thing that kind of came with that, along with that, Kevin Feige, who's the overhead of Marvel Studios, I was reading that he was actually going to move on making Star Wars films now. I don't know if you knew that.
No, wow.
So now the question is, who's going to helm that role and have somebody to place these key figures on making these successful movies and push forward from here on out? Like, is it going to change how Marvel movies are gonna be made from here on out, or is he going to balance both to where he's going to make Star Wars films and he's going to do Marvel films at the same time? Because Star Wars is a huge franchise, so it's one of those things where, man, they're thinking they're thinking like maybe 5-10 years down the road. So they're just getting things on the tracks and moving, so there's a lot of shifting going around, and it's just interesting from my perspective, just because I'm a fan of this stuff, to see just how everything's like changing like pretty quickly after just so far 11 to 10 years of all these movies that have come out. They're just making so many changes to where I hope it's going to be for the best. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's definitely just interesting to see this kind of morph out.
Man, I'll definitely start catching up on that stuff, because I know with Deadpool, Deadpool, like who's the I thought that was Spider-Man's cousin.
No, man, Deadpool's a pretty unique character. Ryan Reynolds plays him, and they picked the perfect dude to play that character. I'll tell you that. And they hit the nail on the head with that one. But yeah, man, it's a lot to catch up with. I mean, if you ever
Do you
have any
think
spare
that they
time,
would ever kill Spider-Man though? Do you think they would ever kill him?
uh, I would feel like they're probably like if let's say that the MCU got him for more movies down the road, I feel like they would do him off in a way the way they did Iron Man. If you haven't seen these past couple ones that came out, like Endgame and Infinity War, I don't know if you know, but Iron Man dies, sacrificing himself to save the world. And
Mm.
it's crazy to see that it started with him and then ended with him, but also just the storyline of him being kind of like a selfish person. He's a multi-billionaire, smart guy, has all the riches, just thought about himself. But more and more and more, he started seeing that there's more to the eye. Having a family, having his own kid, caring about all these other heroes that he's teamed up with, and at the end making the ultimate sacrifice. What's crazy? I'll tell you a little quick story how much this impacted a lot of people the day of the premiere when I went to see this movie. So when the movie was ending, nobody knew. Like I tried to stay away from leaks and just kind of like watching any spoilers.
Yeah.
And so towards the end of the movie, when all that happened, and you just got that feeling like, okay, Iron Man's gonna take one for the team. He's gonna go out in a blaze of glory. And when it happened, I kid you not, like the whole theater was dead silent, and you heard a
Oh.
lot of sobbing, like a lot of people crying. There was
Oh.
a gal in front of me, like sobbing like crazy, bro. Like it was just insane. Like it hit her hard to
Wow.
the point where it was like it got that raw reaction because you've seen this person like this, Robert Downey Jr. by far one of the best actors on this planet. I don't care what anybody says. Like after this, Iron Man is Robert Downey Jr. That's it. There's no questions, buts, what's about it. That's like him in real life. But
Yeah.
anyways, going back to that, it just you can just tell the impact and the emotion that this character, really, got from people. And once it was said and done, it was kind of like one of those things where like I woke up the next morning like, damn, Iron Man's dead. You know what I'm saying? Like this
Wow.
sucks. So it's like it really got a raw reaction from the audience. So just kind of backpedaling to what you were talking about Spider-Man, I feel we would get that same reaction from Spider-Man because he looked up to Iron Man in the movies, kind of like a father figure. You know what I'm saying? So Iron Man kind of passed the torch on to Spider-Man, and that's why I feel like people made a big commotion about this whole Sony not agreeing with the new deal to Marvel Studios because they felt like, man, you're taking what was closest to what we had to Iron Man away. Now it's like you're messing it up for everybody. So I can tell why people got really uptight about it, upset about it. Even me, I was kind of upset, like, man, this kind of sucks that they're putting him back with the Sony universe and not Marvel, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I can just tell why people were upset, and it's just
Yeah.
you really have to really just watch the whole movie throughout to get a really good perspective on like how all these key heroes play a significant role and how like everything was just strategically tied into everything, dude. It's just nuts. Like the script writers to these movies, dude, amazing job, dude.
Ah.
It's like one of the best like written screenplays I think I've ever witnessed to even go from like the beginning till now. It's been one hell of a ride, man, and I just can't wait for future films, dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what was I gonna say? There was. Oh, one thing I wondered though is like if these people die, like Iron Man dies, if Spider-Man dies, um, what happens when all the superheroes are dead? You
Yeah, I
know?
mean, it's one of those things where what happens if just they decide to just throw hang the cape and call it good, man. I mean, I feel like it's just gonna be there's always gonna be different storylines, and there's just so many comics that they can use different storylines to go with. So there's always gonna be different things they can go, what is it, reference them to. So I don't see them ever being one of those things where that's it, no more, and it's good. You know what I'm saying? It's always gonna
Well,
be like a forever thing, I guess you can say. And there's always new comics being written, so they're always gonna have those in the back burner and kind of using it
yeah.
for the future. So yeah, I don't see it being one of those things where it's gonna end, like I was saying. So
Like maybe ever changing. Like how many different variances of Batman can you have? You know,
Yeah, I know.
is he
They've had a
hanging with
few.
Robin or is he not? You know,
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. There's been quite a few Spider-Man movies, Batman movies. We've had a few X-Men, like, you know, the same storyline, I guess you could say, but different
why do
time
you
frames.
why do you think though that like for instance, you know, I'm playing Fortnite, right? Right now the event is Batman,
Yeah,
and they're celebrating 80 years of Batman. You know, so think about that. I mean, here we've been captivated by this character for
yeah.
80 years, 8 decades, and people just can't let him go. What is it about these characters can we not let go?
I
And
think it's
why
just
can't we come up with new ones? Like there was at one time he was a brand new character, and then
yeah,
now here he is, 80 years old, and still
yeah.
fighting crime.
I think it's just for me, I can just speak for myself. Growing up, you know, being a kid, you know, watching these movies on TV or watching these cartoons on TV, you grew up with it. It's kind of like a, you know, childhood memory, you know. And for me to like, because I can just say from like talking in reference to like Iron Man, or when I was little, I would always watch the Iron Man cartoon, and when I heard that they were announcing the movie, like a real actual Iron movie, dude, it blew me away. Like I was like, I cannot wait,
Mm,
because it's like I'm gonna relive my childhood memories watching this movie. I'm now like, I think I was like 20, 21 at the time,
yeah.
and it was just like, I guess just those memories that you can say you go back to when, you know, you were a kid, life was good, just, you know, hanging out at a house, watching these cartoons, you know, really not having any other like responsibilities, and just going back and just kind of time traveling in a way to go back, you know, and be like, man, I'm getting the same reaction I got when I was a kid watching this movie now. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm,
I think that's why. And then also there just be like, it's always that thing of like, you know, good versus evil too. You know, the good guy always wins, but then maybe, you know, they go through trials and tribulations to maybe where they can't pull off something, and they lose somebody in the realm of like trying to defeat the villain. So there's always like, I guess, different little different storylines where different situations that you can relate to where like, you know, it kind of like teaches you, I guess, real life lessons in a way. I mean, I
yeah.
don't know, some real life, some values or something. I don't know. I'll just speak for me. It's just the fact that, you know, being as a kid and then growing up and still seeing it be like giving you that same reaction it gave you X amount of years ago. I think that's to me what's like, I guess, has me tied into these movies now, you know?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I have, you know, I've just never been into the, I mean, I've, you know, I watched Batman. I love The Dark Knight only because I think what I liked about it, The Dark Knight, was the human element, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you were looking at at Batman, how he was just really he was human, right? That it was taking a toll on him. All that constant, just, you know, got to be the hero, got to save, got to save. But you know, he's always has to keep his temper at bay, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He can't let all the evil. I mean, think of it. You know, if you're someone like, look at these people. A lot of these police and a lot of these correctional officers that see perps every day, see bad
Mm-hmm.
guys every day. And so then they get to the point where they're just they don't trust us. Every car they pull over, what's this guy hiding? Oh, this guy's lying to me. This lady's doing this. This, you know what I mean? Everyone's a suspect. And so if that's Batman's character, if that's all he sees,
Yeah.
where is his release, right? If he's keeping it all, and it's a secret, right? And we all know that that people, we are not designed to keep secrets.
Yeah.
We break down, right? And so when you see Batman breaking down, so that's the type of stuff that I look for.
Yeah. For
Um,
sure. For
and
sure.
then you
Yeah.
look at the Joker, you know, and it's a whole different thing. He's the guy that's going through some things, but then he he made the bad decisions. He made the poor decisions. But
Mm-hmm.
maybe those, in his mind, those were the only decisions. Especially when you're talking about, you know, when you see someone just lose their marbles, can do they have any control? Do
Yeah.
they?
Yeah. That's
So
true. That's true. Yeah, man. Those it's, I feel like it's right. Like maybe in a way, the Joker is his own hero in his own mind, and he feels like he's doing the right thing from the things that were given to him, like the options and choices, and just the cards that he was dealt with. I guess you could say, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of, I feel like it's always interesting to see it from different perspectives. I feel like, so that's why, like I said, man, from when I said it in the beginning of this session, I'm more stoked for this movie just because what's behind it now, just so we know a little bit more of what it went into it. And I feel like it's gonna have me like an awe, when I see this. So I'm really stoked to see it. I'm really stoked. Like, I'm really actually looking forward to getting back on here and talking about it and seeing what we think. Yeah. So but yeah, man. I feel like we touched really good tips on 2 topics today. It's one of those things where I feel like it was like hot off the press. We need to talk about this today, and we made some time to really kind of link up and make this happen. But with anybody out there, man, let us know what you guys think. Are you guys gonna watch the Joker that's coming out next week? What do you think about the Spider-Man agreement, Sony Disney deal? Just leave us some questions in the comments too. Your thoughts, everything. Subscribe, all that helps us out a lot. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm glad we got to talk about this, and I'm glad you made some time, off your schedule to link up and talk about this as well. Hopefully we'll get back in the studio and make some more stuff, some face-to-face sessions again. And
we got an interview coming up soon, right? We got an interview coming up soon.
For sure.
Yep. Wifey's getting ready to head out of country, so we're gonna, we're gonna spill the tea.
We're gonna hit the ground running.
Yeah. But anyway, so we have that, and for anybody watching, thank you guys for watching, supporting the channel. It's much loved. We love it, and but also bear with us as we grow it, because we're just putting this thing together one day at a time. And so, like, if you see the channel or if you see a video and it's choppy, we're working through all that. But if you guys have any tips on camera, better quality, better video quality, better whatever it is that you see, if we're making like rookie mistakes, hey man, let us know.
Any advice would help, and we're eager to learn, man. So it'll definitely be helpful.
We plan on. I'm getting ready to taper off one of the other podcasts I'm doing, and then so that we can put this one in the limelight and get this the attention. So once we have actual addresses where we can be on iTunes, all the wherever you can get podcasts, we'll make that announcement as well. But that is coming soon.
Sure, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Well, I guess this concludes this web-based episode of the Tip Touch. And man, thanks, Brett. Thanks for joining in on this again and talking about this stuff. And I'm looking forward to doing more stuff like this too. Right off the tip.
Yeah, man. All right. Yeah. Thanks for the phone call. Thanks for the insight. Always good talking to you.
All right,
signing out.